So is there still a place for cheerleading? Are they elite sports women or just a bit of eye candy? This is going to be fun. Joining us now is the leader of the Man of Cheerleaders, Emily Rutherford, alongside journalist Harriet Minter. I'm going to start with you, if I can, Emily, from New Zealand. Bless you. Why do you think cheerleading stokes up such controversy? I'm sure my friend here is going to say, it's wrong, it's eye candy for men. Let me put something to you like this. If you ask these girls, would they say that this is a sport, or would they say, I don't know, it's to be looked at, it's a step to something else? What would they say? Is it a sport?
It is definitely a sport. And I think it's actually quite offensive that you're saying that, because I think anyone who's trained...
I'm not saying that, she is.
I think anyone who's trained to the level that they can do a backflip on call on a hard ground in a tiny studio like that has done a huge amount of training and should not be sort of looked down upon. I think it's quite offensive.
Let me put that to you, Harriet Minter. You say that this is... And you make several points. You say that this is just eye candy for men. And it's...
I don't know that I have made that point, Jeremy, but thanks for putting those words in my mouth.
No, I'm not putting it in your mouth, but that's what I read you said.
However, is... Where did you read that?
Well, I read all sorts of stuff.
What do you think about cheerleading,
What I do
Harriet?
think about cheerleading, Kate, is that actually what we have is a weird condition where we have groups of women standing on the sidelines cheering on men doing something. And that feels like a really nasty and quite outdated attitude to men and women's roles in society. The men do it and the women cheer on from the sidelines while sporting a full face of makeup and a very short skirt.
So
That's completely wrong.
Is it the cheerleading that's offensive, or is it the fact that it's women cheering men?
So it's not the
I think the
cheerleading.
original attempt by Billericay Football Club to do this was to kind of bring a bit of a razzmatazz to the show.
Yeah.
It was a performance. So whether it's a sport or not, in a sense, it was a wonderful dance performance, if you look at it like that. Why would that be offensive?
It's a wonderful dance performance of young girls in very skimpy outfits, particularly if you look to the Billericay team, where it was designed to be deliberately, I think, kind of quite provocative. And they're standing on the sidelines cheering on men for doing stuff. I wouldn't have a problem at all if what we had was, say, groups of male cheerleaders standing on the sidelines cheering on women's teams, but we never see that.
And you think about how women's sport has really taken off, not just with the World Athletics Championships, all sorts.
It has taken off, but
England women's cricket won the World Cup, right?
But they're not getting the same support, are they?
That's
they're not getting the
irrelevant
cheerleaders, they're not getting the money,
We regularly
Would men do
perform
that,
at-
Emily? Have you ever... I mean...
We regularly perform at female sports events, so I actually also find that really ignorant and offensive, if I'm honest. And I think, you know...
Do you? Because I was having a look through your Facebook page, Emily, and I have to say I did not see you performing at a single female sports event. I just saw you guys cheering on men or promoting cars. That's what I saw.
Okay, no, we do.
By all means, if you do,
a few weeks ago, we were at a female rugby event. We collected for a female rugby charity. One of the events we did recently was actually a big Bring It On screening, and basically every single person in the audience was either a gay man or a woman on a hen's do, you know, and that was probably one of the best reactions that we had.
Is that in a sport, or is that just titillation?
Do they have to wear such skimpy outfits? That's one of the things.
I think that's. I think it's actually really sexist of Harriet to say they're young girls. They are grown adult women between the ages of 18 and 35.
I'd like to ask them rather than you two, with the greatest respect. Do you feel that what you're doing is a sport, or do you think you are? I'm just using a phrase before Harriet tells me I'm not. Are you just there as eye candy? What's the point of this, girls? One of you tell me.
Well, I think kind of in response to you saying about in terms of us not performing at women's sports, we do, in fact, like Emily's mentioned, perform at both male-dominated sports and women's as well. But I do think it's a real problem that women's sports don't have the funding and the media exposure.
Right. I've got the perfect scenario. Harriet.
It's one of the reasons they don't have that funding, because actually we still see women on the sidelines cheering rather than actually playing. That's what we think.
We do very little on the sideline cheerleading. We predominantly do very intensive dancing, gymnastics.
I've got it.
And it's very difficult. I would love to invite you along to one of our training sessions. I'll see if you last the first 5 minutes of our fitness warm-up.
Can I make a suggestion, Harriet? Harriet, can I make a suggestion?
That's not the point. The point isn't about fitness. The point is actually about...
It is about fitness, because we're encouraging women. We're encouraging women to take up fitness. Majority of the people that come up to us... Majority of the women that come up to us event are young girls.
I'll set you a challenge. You'll support me on this. Just say yes before we do it. I will challenge the Good Morning Britain male-dominated, I don't mean that wrong before somebody jumps up and down, the crew, the one in shorts that you keep looking at, why don't you, in the next half an hour, try and get them to do some moves, and all the women can stand around the edge and look at the men? Because I'm not going to get... I do take that point. I think it's important what the girls think, and I think it's important the reasons. But female sport, it has to be said, female sport is absolutely on the upclimb
100%,
across the world.
100%, and we support
do
that.
we see male cheerleaders?
No.
Yes, you do.
I've never seen a male cheerleader.
There are a lot of male
Emily.
cheerleaders.
There are a lot
I've
of
met
male
many
cheerleaders,
male
like
cheerleaders.
saying
Right, the director's telling me you two stop shouting
One
at each other.
second. If you object to this on sexist grounds, Harriet, the fact that it's women cheering on men, if women's sport got more money, enough to have their own cheerleading team,
They do.
why
Lots
would
of
it be
netball teams do have
unsexist to have
cheerleaders.
men cheering on women?
I
Why
don't think
is
would.
it?
So what I'm saying is,
why
I'm
are
not
you seeing it
saying
only
it's-
one way?
I'm not seeing it only one way at all. What I'm saying is the problem is that while we are in a society which only has women cheering on men,
Doesn't
There
just
are
have-
men.
There
But they're
are
very,
male
very small.
cheerleaders.
Right,
They're
listen, I think
not
we'll
just
agree to
male
disagree.
cheerleaders.
We have to move on. I think we'll have to agree to disagree. I think the girls, I think you did fantastic this morning. Some people will love it, some people will not. I guess the story started because the guy at Billericay Town was trying to glamorise his football club and then accused the cheerleaders of trying to chat up the players.